Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Enthador. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dwarf Fortress version 0.43, and we are the Undersea Library of Lostknowledge. And you could see here the massacre that took place. The goblins pretty much slaughtered every animal that didn't make it out. They did eventually leave, so we're out gathering the wood while we have time. But in this episode, I want to explore the caverns. We finally uncovered the caverns, but they are really, really far down. All the way at floor number -60, which is a little low for what would be the first cavern layer. I think this is the first cavern layer, because if you look at the plant life that exists in it, and we've dug a couple tunnels to get fortifications and views to kind of see a little bit of it, but if you look at the general plant life, it's very much Cavern 1 plant life. You have tower caps and you have fungi woods, and that's about it. So we know it's definitely not the third cavern layer, which has those evil-looking red trees. It may be the second, I suppose, but I'm not even sure. What is ominous, however, about it is that scattered around it all over the place are the remains of animals. We have cave swallows, we have ulms, bats, just remains everywhere. But we're not seeing any creatures that look like they could have caused those remains. So, what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to take our squad and we're going to take a look around here. I have an entrance nearly dug out here. But before we get started with that, I want to show you a new squad I put together at Mark Stores, because we got some more immigrants, lots and lots of immigrants, and I wanted to introduce them all to you. So for the most part, all of the immigrants have been set to unassigned, even if they're legendary in one way or another, because I'm just taking the time to get everything situated before I have people go and do other things. But starting with the summer of the year 169, we got Aracia, Creep, Spark, Dur, Dweezil, Hunter, Kusaha, Scarth Eden, and Winged. Then, in the winter of 169, we received Cassiterides, Clad, Duthug, Ennaoirau, I always pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry, Ivan Sharpflint, Peas Soup, Thornton, and then finally, in the spring of 170, we received Dwarf Comic, Gunther Blackguard, Kylern, Marinus Theon, Mij, Moonbeams, Nexus Lay, and Overlord the Killer. Now, the most notable of this group here is, of course, Dwarf Comic, who is a legendary mason and stone detailer. Right now I have him stone detailing because we have pretty decent masons. Dur is already up to legendary as well. So we can finally make some really beautiful engravings on the pillars. In fact, I might decide to smooth over what's already put there. Sorry. And then engrave some better stuff. Now, it's been asked in the comments, Marcus, why don't you just tell them what to engrave? Why don't you put that you want them to engrave the founding of the fort or the fight with the giant? And here's the reason why. Right now, if you tell it what to engrave, it won't do it right. And what I mean by that is, if it naturally chooses to engrave something about the giant, it'll say, this is an engraving of a dwarf striking down a giant, and this relates to the giant attack of this particular giant on Lostknowledge in the year 163 or whatever. Whereas if I tell it to do a picture of the giant, it'll just say, this is a picture of the giant being struck down by so-and-so is posing, or whatever I want it to say. But since it's not an actual historical event, since it's something that I'm telling the game to do, it's fictionalized. So it doesn't have the whole history behind it, like the date it happened, what the name of the attack was, the rampage of so-and-so. And that really bugs me. Like, I wish there was a way you can kind of tell it, I want you to do a specific historical event, and here it is. But unfortunately, right now, you can't do that. If you select a specific event, it will just assume you made that event up. And you could. For example, I could do a statue of us killing a dragon, even though we didn't actually do it. So that's why. So either you tell it to make a specific image, and it's fictionalized, or you let it choose on its own to do a historical image. So I'm hoping that it will just choose on its own to do a historical image. But as we've seen so far, that hasn't really been the case. The dwarves like to engrave stuff about spiders and pears and whatnot, and not necessarily the most exciting things that took place. So either in the future, the game maybe should be modified such that you can tell it to specifically pick one historical event that actually did happen, or we could make it so that dwarves tend to want to engrave stuff that happened recently at the current fortress that they're at, as opposed to like random historical events that happened 100 years ago in the region you happen to be in. Just some ideas. But okay. So we have some new squads. Well, we have one new squad. We have the pea shooters. And the reason they're called that is because they're led by Peas Soup. Because he is he's the strongest of them all in Mark's Dwarf. He's a high master crossbow dwarf. And all the rest are, at the very least, the worst of them all is William, who has proficiency in crossbow. A lot of them are talented. So this is a decent group. I'm trying to put together some bolts. Metal is very scarce. So we're doing the best we can. I'm not going to have them involved in anything yet. In fact, they're not even training. They're just kind of sitting around. But let's get started here. Let's mine this out. Oops. There we go. Now, there is some peril in this. You know, if there's a forgotten beast down here or something, we're going to be in trouble. But there is a door here that we could lock for just basic creatures. And actually, let's get our squad, the Justicars. Let's move them here as soon as possible. All right. Someone's going to come dig this out, and we are going to see what we are going to see. I just want to get a feel for this area. Okay, here comes the Justicars. They're here. All right. We're missing one of them, though, aren't we? No, it looks like they're all here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for our miner here to get out. All right, now that he has done that, I'm going to lock this door so that my Mark's dwarves, if they get thirsty or whatever, or my military dwarves, if they get thirsty, they won't necessarily go back. Okay, Jurist, let's do some exploration. Let's just, first of all, let's move out here. Take a look at the surrounding area. All right, so let's take a quick look at what we got. So this is a pretty vertical cavern from the top here to the bottom. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 vertical in height. And again, I think this is the first cavern layer. And there's a lot of water in here, which I guess makes sense because it's under an ocean. But it is fresh water. It's not salt water. All right, so where... I don't like vertical caverns. I think I've explained this to you before. They're easy to get lost in. But I guess we'll take a look around here. This is an area we don't have much knowledge about. So let's get our squad to move here. And we should open up more things to look at. Ooh, Bengal Hairy Basements just constructed an amazing leather water skin. That is fantastic. Alright, the squad is taking their time to get here. Let's try that again. Move here. I mean, it's possible for them to get here, right? Nah, they're just sitting there. Okay, maybe they can't get there. Yeah, it looks like... Okay, the water's in the way. Sorry, guys. Let's just at least move you to the edge of the water here. Just to see as much as we can see. Alright, well that's not too helpful if we can't get to their side. Let's see if we can get... Alright, so there's really not much we can do here. I guess we can come down to here. But the water kind of cuts the cave pretty much in half. So the only way we're going to be able to see it is by having our miners dig kind of view holes. But here comes the squad anyway. So, alright, see all this stuff we can't see it until we dig down there, all this cornery stuff here. I think this is very rare. I rarely find a cavern layer that's so filled with water that you can't explore it. And this is as far down as it goes here. So it looks like there's an entrance. If we wanted to block this whole level off, which we couldn't completely because of the water, but if we wanted to block off the physical access, there's this here. And there's this... Oh, this is up here. Have to be very high. Alright, so there's really nothing... There's really nothing here of any note, honestly. I guess we could send our guys down here to cut some wood, but I feel afraid that they'd get attacked by a forgotten beast or something. I think I might as well just seal this off. So you guys go home. Oh, I gotta open that door for you. Sorry. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic, honestly. Not too exciting. Alright, they're getting out, so we're gonna build a wall here, just for now. Just to keep us safe from whatever it is might spawn here. So that stinks. That means we're gonna have to try to find another cavern lair. Or at least try to find a way to look over here.
Summer is here.
Alright. It is now the summertime, which is good, because that means humans come. And humans generally bring cloth, leather, and metal. All things that I need quite a bit of. The elves didn't bring much of anything at all. I did get some food from them, but I was really hoping they'd bring some animal... Well, they did bring animals, but nothing I wanted. But I was really hoping they would bring cloth. But they did not. Alright. So I want to see what's going on here. So... Oops. That's not what I meant to do at all. Alright, where... Okay, so this is here. Is there anything over here that we could see? No, there isn't. But we can go down one, and then we have this. So let's do that. Let's dig a downstair. And we'll go down here and do an upstair. And then we'll do a little tunnel that gets us to here. Like that. And we'll see what we can see. This will expose a bit more of the cavern for us. While we're doing that, let me show you what's going on in the fortress. I have little piles now for microcline and cobaltite and kaolinite. We seem to be low on slate. We're doing pretty well on... Oh, they're training. Good for them. I've got this whole floor coppered up. So this is the way down right now into the military access of the caves. Once I have the caves completely mapped up, then I'll do the civilian access. But what's cool is I now have these two staircases going up, which takes you to the access to here. So now our Marks Dwarves have access to this area here. In fact, let's clean it up and get rid of those boulders. We have some more kaolinite too, which is great. Okay. Excellent. And I've got it all smoothed out too. So that's how they're going to get there. So as you can see here, we've got our military has access to everything they need to have access to, but I'm keeping it separate from where our civilians need to have access. So we've got some ammo starting to build up here. We've got weapons and armor here. As you can see, mostly what we have here is leather armor, which... And there's some copper mail shirts. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I haven't set my Marks Dwarves to do anything, because they're all supposed to put on this leather armor. So actually, let's see, do we have any of that copper flooring? Let's see if we can do it here. Copper blocks, we only have 4. So I want to create a place for our Marks Dwarves to train, so they can put on their armor. You know, what I could do is I could do JMQ copper armor stand 1, and let's make that the highest priority over the copper blocks. And then what I'll do is I'll build 1 copper floor here where the armor stand is going to go, and then I'll put the armor stand on it, and then later I can do the rest of the floor. Excellent. And while we're up here, we might as well engrave some more stuff too. We have tons of rubicells as usual, so we're gonna just use those. This is probably the most annoying part of this whole process. I really wish there was a way that you could set it so that it would just automatically use whatever gem you had, but they would only engrave 1 gem on 1 finished good and put it away. That would be amazing to me if you could just set it automatically. Just like you can set your guy to cut gems automatically, which is perfect. I think that's wonderful. I really wish there was a way to encrust automatically in a way that didn't, again, create hyper-valuable objects that have tons of incrustations. Encrustations. I think I just made up a word. That's cool. I like doing that. I wonder if what would happen if I actually did the manager and said encrust finished goods with rubicells, and I said 20. I wonder if it would actually do it, or if it'd do it the wrong way, or if it... I've tried it once before, and it just sat there at 20. It never actually reduced. It was weird. But, alright, cool. Let's go back down to... No. Shift F1. There we go. To here. Alright, we're just about ready. I have to be quick about it, because I have to have them build a fortification as soon as the hole is there, just in case there's something nasty in there that wants to murder all of my dwarves. Man, but these miners are unreliable. What's this, by the way? Orthoclase, huh? Stone. Okay, let's do... Max wheelbarrow 1 is fine. Change settings. Forbid, 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 forbid. And... Orthoclase, come on. There it is. Although the dwarves are doing a really bad job of filling these up, honestly. So one of the things I have to do, too, is go up to this, like, overflow one and get rid of that particular kind of stone. That seems to work. But still, they're not... You'd think they'd be... With so many idlers, you'd think they'd be really filling these up quick, and they're not. It's kind of disappointing to me. The stray baby... Yeah, so all my animals are starving to death because I forgot to put them back up there. This is just not a fortress where we're going to be really having animals. Maybe turkeys, but not... Definitely not, like, animals that require grass to eat. I'll put them right here next to the corpses of all the other fallen animals. That's healthy environment for them. Dog. The dog is put somewhere? Weird. Alright. Only the stuff that needs to... Alright, so only the stray water buffalo calf really needs to graze. Everybody else can just kind of wander around. And that's fine with me. It is raining repulsive goo. Well, that is unfortunate, but... Alright. We've opened up a lot more of the cavern. Not a ton more. Gosh, not as much as I'd like. So we're seeing more bones and such, but not a ton of creatures. Well, pond grabbers. Let's take a look at those guys. Alright, well, that makes sense. They're in the pond. They probably can't fly. I don't think I have to worry about them much. But I need to scope out a good way to get a civilian staircase down to the next cavern layer, all the way to the magma, essentially, is the main goal here. Is to find, hopefully, if I can, a straight shot down. But if I can't, then at least one that's not as difficult as it could be. What the hell is my... Okay, here's the entrance here, so it's got to be around here somewhere. There it is. Alright. Well, now that this is open, we can do some more fun stuff with it, like come over here. And, yeah. Let's take a look and see what we can see over here. And where else do we need some intelligence? I'm not a big fan of doing this because I'm taking up space that can theoretically be used for my tunnel, but it is what it is. I wonder if we dig into the tree, if that'll make us vulnerable. Oh, I don't know, whatever. We'll just build a thing there. Alright. Let's get a fortification. Diorite blocks. The most dangerous thing we've seen so far is some pond grabbers, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, everybody has a backpack. That's good. I do need to purchase some leather, though, so I can't wait till the humans get here. Not a lot in the way of ore, which is disappointing. I think it is all at the top, unfortunately. We're just going to have to trade for all of our metal. Which is fine. So many idlers, though. Although I'm going to have a huge project. Now that I've discovered that I believe... Oh, good. Of course, that's exactly what we need. The Forgotten Beast, Yetin Uthamislavina, has come. A great feathered earthworm. It has wings, and it has a bloated body. Beware its deadly blood. Okay, so deadly blood. That's a problem, because if we kill it, I presume its blood can cause problems. And of course, it's going to bleed all over our guys. So we're going to have to let it go. But of course, what this means now is that we're in a bad state in terms of exploring this cavern lair. In fact, let's undo this. And undo this. I don't think it can fly over fortifications. So we're pretty safe from it. But it's the kind of thing that we're going to need to kill with Mark's dwarves to prevent undue death and tragedy to my dwarves. Now, one thing I wanted to do in this fortress is I wanted to not necessarily kill Forgotten Beasts, but to lead them into a giant antechamber and, like, store them. Like, have different cells for each beast. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work because cells are going to be long enough that the beast can't get from one end to the other before you can close the drawbridge. So obviously they're going to be large. It can't just be like a small 2x2 cell, obviously. What I could do is just, like, have a sacrificial animal, like pasture a cat or something in there, let the Forgotten Beast come in and kill the cat, and as soon as they do that, raise one drawbridge. That's one way to make it work. But the humans are here. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, humans. We desperately need your goods. How are we doing here? We're not doing... Come on, guys. I think I need to train another encruster, because this guy just... Who are you? Nikola Tesla just is not fast. He's not doing a wonderful job. What's funny is if I set these two to auto-trade, I currently have them turned off because I want to actually see the items, but if I set them to auto-trade, this row here of items never gets auto-traded for some reason. Everything else does, but not this one row. Alright. We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. We're going to move goods to there. Alright, that's enough. Although we do have plenty of idlers, so it shouldn't take long to get all these things moved over. Ah, good. Let's build that armor stand. Oh, hasn't been built yet. Come on, guys. I didn't want to put bins in here, but they're filling up. I figured we can always just only build armor that we need, give them to our dwarves. Why is there a crown in there? It's just a diorite crown for no reason at all. Can we dump that, please? Thank you. Yeah, see, now they're filling this up again because we have so many crafts just sitting there. Alright, let's get our trader there. Brick doesn't have a job, so he should get there quickly. Alright, there's Brick. He's there, but I don't think the humans are ready. Are they? Yeah, they are. Okay. Alright. Let's just get all the metal they've got. Trifle, pewter, sterling silver, gold, silver, copper, platinum. We'll take it all. Now we're getting some fish, which they brought a lot. Holy crap. I'm just going to buy them out. I don't care. If you look over to the side of mine, I have some items that are worth 1,000 just in one figurine. So we definitely have what it takes to purchase all of their food items. And finally, maybe we can start our kitchen working. I'm sure there's some dwarves that have good cooking skill. So we can start really putting out some excellent meals. That'll make them happy. One more thing they can be happy about. And you know what? I'm going to buy out their yarn too, because I'm getting the hospital started, the thread and the yarn, and it's cheap. Alright. There's some leather stuff I don't want. You know what I should start doing, though? Since we have all this money anyway, I should start buying books. Since this is a library. There's one. Humans, a brief introduction. Yes, we could use that. It'll tell us all about the humans. It's a copy, but whatever. This is a well-crafted goose parchment scroll. The rollers are made from garnierite. This object is adorned with hanging rings of finely crafted clear tourmaline. Written on the item is an essay entitled The Humans, a brief introduction. Authored by Ongi, carried scholar. It concerns the marriage of the human Ongi carried scholar and the human Domi Manerband in 124. The writing is depressing. Overall, the prose is passable. So wait, this dude is trying to write a scroll about what it is to be human, or like to teach people about the humans, and instead he's talking about his marriage, his depressing marriage. Okay. Hamlet. Really? Hamlet? Hamlet exists in this world? Oh, the Hamlet. The Hamlet, my love. This is a guide entitled The Hamlet, My Love, authored by Catet Driven Homage. It concerns the Hamlet stand muscle. Overall, the prose is not awful, but not very good either. Well, every great library has to start somewhere, and let's get these codexes. I'm not sure, are they even about anything? Never really checked. The written portion consists of an 18-page essay entitled The Village, A New Approach, authored by Thora Weatherspoon. It concerns the settling of the human Thora Weatherspoon in stand muscle. So a lot of stuff here is about stand muscle. I guess it must be a really important city for these particular humans. The writing gets off track from time to time. Well, that's all right. Kind of like my Let's Plays, right? All right, that's cool. Now let's just give them a bunch of crafts to make up for it here. Just take it all. Take it all. Look at that diorite scepter right here. Let's go look at that when we get to it. It's worth 3,000 gold all by itself, or dwarf bucks, I should say. Let's view it. This is an exceptional diorite scepter. On the item is an exceptionally designed image of Grimux Onyx Blade, Tomb Cleaned, the Dwarf and Dwarves in Rubicel by Dodong Limolshaveth. Grimux Onyx Blade, Tome Cleaned, is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the appointment of the dwarf Grimux Onyx Blade, Tome Cleaned, to the position of manager of the Scribe of Destiny in the mid-autumn of 169. So think about this. Some super rich human, right, is going to be purchasing this incredibly expensive and valuable scepter that relates Grimux Onyx Blade's managership of our fortress. I mean, that's how important we are. Just our manager, which isn't even a really high-level noble position. I mean, he is also the mayor, but just our manager is going to be on a scepter worth 3,000 dwarf bucks. That is pretty sweet. And then we have just some regular stuff, too. What's this one? Here's another scepter. This one's worth 2,000. This is an exceptional diorite scepter. On the item is an exceptionally designed image of Langud, the dwarven deity of weather and nature, depicted as a male dwarf in Rubicel by Dodong. Langud is contemplating. So, okay, we're spreading our religion throughout the world. Certainly, that's been done before. I want to give them roughly the profit of what their overall... Okay, that's a lot of profit. Let's just do that. He's ecstatic. Fantastic. That means that he's going to bring a whole lot of stuff next time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was our trading. We got a lot of cool stuff. We bought some books, so our library is just about ready to get started. The only reason I haven't started digging it out yet, though, is I'm focused on getting housing set up. In fact, let me show you that real quick. I know we're at 33 minutes. Holy moly, that's a lot of time. But look at that. So I've got a whole lot of new housing developed. I just got to get furniture in it. All these ones that do have furniture, I have not assigned dwarves to them. I've just let dwarves kind of pick their own housing, which in a way kind of sucks because the kids tend to pick first. So all these are filled with kids. But eventually we're going to have enough for everybody, so I'm not to worry about it. Here's the hospital. This is the room where we're going to store everything, like the cloth and whatnot. And these are going to be the hospital rooms. And they have access to the to our wells. And so that's kind of our housing situation right now. We're going to continue expanding it, of course. And yeah, So, once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you very much for watching this tale of Enthador, Lostknowledge, the undersea fortress. Come back as soon as you can. Have a good one.